what if I had to just basically completely reinvent myself? I'm covered in tattoos. Like what am I if I'm not a UFC fighter? And that can break a guy mentally. That's what I think he's dealing with. If anybody watches my channel consistently, they've heard me say this about Cody Garbrandt a million times. I think talent-wise, the guy is extraordinary, unmatched. He's a fantastic talent. And when he was confident, he was an absolute killer. His issue has always been in his brain, and his mental game has always, it's been flawed in one way or the other. Generally flawed, though, in two ways. A, he would go head hunting, trying to get the knockout, and so he would be reckless and he would sit in the pocket doing these hooks. That is more, initially was just kind of like a reckless approach to fighting. And then after the 2 TJ knockouts, it changed. And it was actually his fear of losing that caused him to do that. Like, because he was so anxious to end the fight that he would spaz out and make poor decisions, which ended up leading to him getting knocked out. And in this last fight, he won by decision. And what I had said, the only time I've ever given any advice to a professional mixed martial arts coach who I'm in no position to give any advice to at all was to Eric Nixick when I found out he was coaching Cody. I have no idea if he even said anything to him about it, but I was like, listen, man, if I was coaching Cody, I would forbid him to win by knockout. Just tell him he's not allowed to win his next fight by knockout. If he knocks him out, that's a loss for you. You can't knock him out, dude. And then, of course, if he accidentally knocks him out, it is what it is. But like, so, and honestly, and again, I'm sure he didn't actually even say that to him, but that's the thing that I've been screaming in my head at Cody. So he goes into that fight. He looks like he takes that approach. And in the first 2 rounds, he looks fantastic. And then, so you're like, maybe he has gotten past this thing that was causing him to get knocked out. And then the 3rd round came around, and I realized it's still right there at the very top of his psyche, which is he's afraid of losing. Because that third round, he didn't sit in the pocket, but he also was like, all I need to do is get through 5 minutes and not get knocked out. Just don't get knocked out. And he wouldn't engage at all. And he almost got knocked out because of it. And it's like, if you fight with fear like that, it's just not a place that you want to be. Because I love Cody Garbrandt. I really want him to do well. Like I feel for this guy. He's got like one of those, he reminds me, he has kind of an Allen Iverson type of energy. Like he's like a dark character that's so talented, thinks a lot. I relate to him a lot. And I'm like, I just want to see him do well. And that 3rd round to me demonstrated he is not over this hump at all. It's basically the same thing as just sitting in the pocket and throwing those.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've always been a cereal guy. I like cereal. You guys might not know this, but I only do sponsorships with companies where I will actually use their products. When Magic Spoon asked me to sponsor and then I tried their products, I was ecstatic. And it turned out to be extraordinarily functionally relevant to things I am trying to do in my own life right now. Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. The variety pack comes with 4 delicious flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. My personal favorite is fruity, and I would have said that even if it wasn't, but it is. Magic Spoon cereals have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. That's only 140 calories per serving. They're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. Now, this week, I am cutting weight for a jiu-jitsu tournament that I have on Sunday, and I have been able to save myself by eating Magic Spoon because it's guilt-free, and I don't have to stress out about whether or not I'm putting on unwanted pounds when I fight in a couple days. Start your new year off right with Magic Spoon. Click the link below and grab a variety pack of Magic Spoon cereal and try it today. Be sure to use the promo code FIRE at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or go to magicspoon.com/fire. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. You can even keep the cereal. So click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use the code FIRE for $5 off. Or go to magicspoon.com/fire to save $5.
But like in the Munoz fight where he just started wiling out, looks identical to me to that 3rd round where he wouldn't do anything. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's just, that's the heartbreaking thing about the sport is once you get knocked out a few times, you can't come back from that because your chin will never be the same again. So I've experienced that firsthand. Like I've played football up until college, right? My first 3 years that I played, I got concussions like back to back to back. The last concussion I got before I stopped playing was at a no contact practice. Like explain that to me. No shoulder pads, just a helmet. Got a fucking concussion. Just
did you smash helmets with someone?
slightly, I was doing like a form tackle, got concussed, meaning my chin was just glass at that point. All right. Like you would blow on my head, I would get concussed, like literally. So I see those guys, like in the UFC, you can only get knocked out so many times. Like I think Cody might be very aware that he cannot get caught anymore. And taking it back to my experience, I would never tackle the same after having a few concussions, because I would try to get my head out of the tackle or something. I would always be like, oh shit, I need to protect my head because I'm afraid of fucking CTE. Even now, I'm like, how will I turn out when I'm 50 years old when I've been concussed like 10 fucking times, you know?
Yeah.
And those guys are aware of that. So of course they fight differently because they also know if they get caught once. And you saw Cody, I think in the 3rd round, he did get caught.
Yeah.
And you saw him panic a bit.
Yes.
That's fucking normal, man. And one aspect of the game that I don't see being discussed a lot is like defense. The GOATs, all right? You talk about like John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, Khabib. How many times did they get caught? You know, they don't get knocked down. I think John Jones has never been knocked down. They're tough to catch, right? And defense is not an exciting aspect of the sports that is interesting to discuss. But the amount of punches you get to the head directly correlate almost with like the length of your career.
Totally.
That's also why power slap will never work, because there is no defense. So there's going to be no long-term talent. Like power slap, you have to stick your chin out and let the other guy knock you out. There's going to be no longevity in that sport. Like the longevity of your career is directly correlated to the amount of punches you're getting, right? And Cody, you know, we've seen many times in the past, like he does like to get crazy and get in there. And as fans, we love that because that's very entertaining. It gives a good show, but it shortens your career.
Yep.
And it gets you to the point where you get knocked out easily, practically. Like you saw with Cowboy also, you know, like it's fucking sad. The sport is brutal like that, but also that's also why we love it. So when it comes to Cody, just like everybody, like I want to see him do well. But if we're being realistic, like health-wise, once you get knocked out a few times, like it's almost impossible to get back to the top, man.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and that's he's for me with him. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that he is like he's afraid that his chin is gone, but I think looking at him, I'm pretty sure my read is pretty good. Where with him, it's not like the really deep seated part of it is not about that. Like it's for him. It's about his identity and his future. Like he is a fighter in the UFC. Like every single bit of this guy as a, you know, when you're an adult, I really believe this is like, you can decide who you are because you just put that skin on. And you wear it long enough, it's who you are. You know, you're like, you want to be a tough guy. Like you want to be like a, you know, whatever, to just wear that skin. And that's what's going to happen if you just tell yourself that's what you are long enough. And every bit, the guy, neck tattoos, full sleeve tattoos, all he does is fight. It's his entire identity is he's a UFC fighter. And I believe that when he's in there now, once he had lost a few times, he started feeling like if he loses, he's going to lose it all. And like, not just lose and lose a fight. He's going to lose his entire he's like, who am I if I'm not a UFC fighter? And most guys, that comes with age. They get to be 36 years old and then they start spazzing out about it. And at least at that point, they're a little bit older. When you're in your late 20s, you're not supposed to have to think about like, what if I had to just basically completely reinvent myself? I'm covered in tattoos. Like what am I if I'm not a UFC fighter? And that can break a guy mentally. That's what I think he's dealing with. Is the fear of losing it all, like, and then fighting from a place of that's the stakes that are in there, which are too heavy for anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's difficult, man, because we all go through that in life.
Yeah.
Right. We all go through that. And in the case of those guys, it's definitely more difficult because you invest so much into a career that won't go. Do you need to go, by the way, or?
I do. Yeah.
All right.